misshapen red brick building. That's an apartment complex today, and I've been told the reason for its rather strange shape is it was purposely designed to provide each of the over 200 apartments with at least one riverside facing view. So that way you're allowed to charge more money for each of the apartments. The building itself though, that was constructed on the site where a very famous old warehouse once stood. It's called Free Trade Wharf. Now, Free Trade Wharf earns its name dating back to the Great Plague of London of 1665. Back during this plague year, no one would trade with us out of the fear of catching the plague and bringing it back home with them. This was everyone except for the Dutch, and over there is where they used to berth their ships. Due to their bravery, our king at the time, King Charles II, he made a concession stating that every time a Dutch merchant ship enters a port in London, they'll do so for free. Let's be waived all port tolls and taxes. This concession still stands today, and it's also often speculated that this is where the saying Dutch courage may have originated from. Now just ahead of us folks, we can see a white church spire in the distance there. That's called St Anne's of Limehouse. It's also known as the Church of the High Seas, the only church in England legally allowed to fly the Royal Navy's white ensign, and it earned this honour as many years ago the church had the duty of recording all of the records of births, deaths and marriages that happened aboard British ships whilst at sea.
Yes.
Now once again on the left hand side we'll see an opening in the river wall there with a bridge on top. That's the lock entrance into Limehouse Marina. Now if you have a small enough boat like an old canal barge, you can enter into Limehouse Marina there, find yourself in Limehouse Basin, travel up to North London, Camden Lock, Little Venice, join up with the Regent's Canal, the Grand Union Canals, and as you wind your way through the various canal systems of England, you can travel as far as Birmingham, Liverpool, Manchester. If you wanted to do this though, it would take you a while, probably about 2 to 3 weeks, as you will be travelling at a maximum speed of about 3 miles an hour. You also have to get yourself for over 200 lock entrances. No longer a commercial dock today, so the old dockmaster's house by the entrance, that's now been converted into a gastropub called the Narrow. And that's owned by Gordon Ramsay, celebrity chef. If you're wondering what the difference between a gastropub and a regular pub is, it's about an additional £3.50 per pint. We do have another Thameside pub just on the left here, in amongst all the houses overlooking the river. We're going to see a white building with 3 wooden balconies. That's called the Grapes of Limehouse. Charles Dickens was living in the tiny attic room of that Thameside pub whilst he was writing his novel, Our Mutual Friends. But back then though, the pub wasn't called the Grapes, it was known as the Six Johnny Fellowship of Porters. And today the pub's owned by a British actor called Sir Ian McKellen. You may know him a bit better as Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit trilogies. If you're a fan of the Lord of the Rings, Gandalf's wizard staff's on display behind the bar of the pub as well. Now, just ahead of us here, we can see all the tall glass buildings, all part of the Canary Wharf development. It stands on the site where they once found the old West India Docks. Now, the West India Docks were once London's main commercial shipping hub, fell into decline in the late 80s. A pair of Canadian brothers called the Reichman brothers would end up purchasing a lot of the property in the area, redeveloping it into London's second financial district. Take a look over here today, you're going to see lots of buildings owned by very well established banks. Buildings owned by Citibank, HSBC, JP Morgan, Barclays. It's not just banking buildings and offices that you can find over here today. Lots of bars and restaurants, hotels, shopping centres, leisure centres, cinemas, arcades, bowling alleys. A lot of things to see and do over there. It's like its own city. As we pass Canary Wharf, we're going to enter into a part of the river called Limehouse Reach, also known as Windy Reach. We're going to start to lose a lot of the shelter we had from some of the taller buildings in London from here on out. So just be careful for up on the top deck. Might get a few strong gusts of wind. So if you've got a loose fitting hat on or a wig, you might want to hang on to it. Now, if you take a look down the river just in front of you, we will see nothing. Not an awful lot to talk about down here, unfortunately. Place and islands of interest, very few and far between. We are nearly our destination though, Greenwich Pier. When we approach Greenwich, I'll tell you a little bit about the Royal Borough. As far as the returning boat times today, we will be the next boat to depart from Greenwich. So if you have a round trip ticket, or if you have a return ticket, you don't have to get off the boat at Greenwich. You can stay on board and come back with us immediately. We'll be leaving at 11:40 to make our way back upstream today, 11:40. After we leave, there'll be boats every half an hour, every 30 minutes. The boats will leave on 10 minutes past the hour and 40 minutes past the hour. The final boat leaving Greenwich today, that's going to leave at 10 minutes past 6 this evening. 10 past 6 is your final departure. The last boat is also direct service to Westminster Pier. It will not make any other additional stops. For now, folks, sit back, relax, enjoy your cruise. I'll be speaking to you again on our approach into Greenwich Pier in a few moments' time. Thank you.
Huh?